I've been a truck driver for 11 years. What I'm about to tell you happened in 2020 on a route I knew well, I-12 Louisiana eastbound, carrying pallets of cleaning products from Lake Charles until Slidell, to then take the I-10 heading for Florida. On the dashboard, the clock read 2H41. Overcast sky, moonless, that thick darkness that seemed to swallow the lighthouse. It was raining lightly, alternating between drizzle and 2 or 3 minutes of heavy rain. I had passed by mile 51 when I heard the CB hissing at a strange frequency. It wasn't normal conversation, it sounded like a radio test. A few seconds later, the voice came in clear. Truck license plate. He gave me my full license plate. Slow down. Weigh station open. Extra inspection. Take exit 47. That set off alarm bells for me because weigh station DA 47, it had been closed for weeks due to road work, according to the locals. I grabbed my phone and quickly checked a group message with some acquaintances. No one knew it was reopening. But it was raining, and sometimes they open it just for checkups. I was torn. Then came the cones. About 200 meters before the access, the track reduced with orange Konisanda white pickup truck on the shoulder. On top of the cabin, rotating amber light, equal maintenance. 3 men of reflective vest, hooded, signaled with a flashlight. One of them pointed at me with an open hand, the classic "come slowly" gesture. My stomach turned. There was something wrong with the way they walked. It wasn't an agent's stance. It seemed, trees no fiscal. I passed the first cone bordering the 25 map and opened the window. "Dot?" I asked loudly. "Oversight?" The guy with the flashlight didn't answer. He just pointed firmly to the right and shouted something I couldn't hear over the sound of the rain on the windshield. Second guy walked to the middle of the lane and raised his hand. The third came from my passenger side near the step. That's when I saw it. In the reflection of the flashlight, there was no coat of arms, patch or badge, only plain Vestand hood to the mouth. And for a second the flashlight caught the third's face, black tape on the nose, as if improvising mascara. I took a deep breath. Keep moving. I remembered the advice of a veteran. Criminal likes parked vehicles. Truck is king when it is in motion. I revved it up a bit more. The front one planted my foot on the asphalt, trying to force me to stop completely, and the one on the side it hit with your knuckles on the door, as if measuring whether it is unlocked. That's when I saw the fourth man, behind the last cone, taking something out of the asphalt with a short rope. At first I didn't understand. In the second I understood too much. A strip full of nails. Hedgehog strip. Ready to cross the street if I stopped at the right spot. My body decided before my head. I honked for a long time, and I threw the high beam in the face of the one in the middle, who raised his arm reflexively. I cut slightly to the left, touching the cones with the front wheel, and of the silks as if to enter. But I didn't enter. I passed between the first and second cone, cracking 2 of them. The one with the rope tried to pull the strip of nails my way. 2 stepped on, and I heard the snap metal against metal, scraping the edge of the hubcap, but it went crooked. Follow. The CB snapped again. Sign. You will be fined for evading inspection. Pull over now, last chance. I grabbed the microphone. I need confirmation through an official channel, identification and code. Silence. Then, short laugh, muffled. A pickup Bronca came in behind of me. No siren, just the amber light. Accelerated until it stuck, then into the side like someone who wants to throw me to the side of the road. I had the tank with quite fuel. You could play patience, but not hero. Gear 49. I called. 1. I said everything as quickly as I could. Mile 47, fake inspectors, nail strip, pickup truck without identification. The attendant asked me to hold the line and describe everything I saw. Are they trying to force you to stop? Yes, ma'am. They're pairing up and throwing it to the side. There's a vehicle nearby. Maintain a safe speed, don't stop, and don't enter rest areas. Only flash your hazard lights if absolutely necessary, okay? As she spoke, the CB exploded in another voice, now with a thick accent. Pull over, damn it. It wasn't agent language, Sufficient confirmation. A pickup me overtook on the left and cut in front of me, throwing tire water in my face, blinding me for a second. I slowed down a bit to gain space. The rain in Grosua as if heaven had waited for this. On the right side, low beams of another car, a dark sedan, approaching slowly, as if only attending. That's when the CB chimed with a familiar timbre. Driver on 12, whoever has the white pickup truck on their tail, answer channel 19. The voice was of Big Mike, a guy I hadn't seen in months, but we once shared a table at a truck stop. I pressed. Here, I'm at mile 45 now. White pickup, amber light, 3 or 4 guys in fake vests. I'm getting into your 6. Throw it to the middle when I tell you. Trust me. I didn't know where he was. The rearview mirror showed only rain and light within light, but the voice had that calm weight of someone who knows what he's doing. The sedan on the right pasted on my side, in sync with the pickup in front, which braked on purpose. Absung, my back hit the seat, and the dashboard flashed a fault light for a second. I held the steering wheel with both hands. I breathed and did not leave the set. Wake up the snake. Now to the middle, the CB ordered. I stepped with Soul and I threw the nose pro center of the 2 tracks right between the pickup and my line. The sound that came was grotesque, a metallic rubbing dough pickup bumper against my bumper. The driver was startled, skidded and went to the shoulder. The sedan tried to take advantage of me to close, but the high beam exploded through my left mirror. Big Mike sprouting with a black Peterbilt chrome grille, and just existing the size of a wall. The sedan it disappeared to the side, shit out. I returned to the lane carefully, no party. 2:57, the 911 operator warned. 2 patrol cars in 5 minutes, another in 2. You'll see the lights soon. The pickup reappeared back there, zigzagging as if wondering whether to come or not. It's the kind of decision a person makes when they realize that no longer controls the scene. I'm on your side, rookie. Faluo Big Mike no CB, calling me a newbie just to keep me humble. One more false stop and I'll rip out their fence. I smiled involuntarily. My hand trembled on the steering wheel, but my breathing began to return. Mile 43. The cones are gone. The rain fine. As lights appeared a few minutes later, 2 vehicles on the wrong side of the road using the median and 1 behind us. The pickup turned off the amber light, threw it to a service exit, and it disappeared. I held 55 for a few minutes until the police radio took over. They told me to head to a meeting point at mile 40 wide area before a bridge. On the illuminated shoulder, 4 police officers got out of their vehicles. 2 came straight at me. They asked if I was okay, asked for my documents, asked me to tell them calmly. Meanwhile, Big Mike parked behind me, came down slowly, that mountain with a wet cap, and stood with his arms crossed, watching. One of the officers whispered to another who was on the radio, then asked, "Did you see the pickup's license plate?" "No, sir. It was full of mud up to the top." "Did they have identification?" "None. Plain vest. Flashlight strong on the face. One of them with tape on the nose. And nail stripe in the track." The police officers exchanged a look I knew. It wasn't a surprise. It was old anger. One of them sighed. "We've had reports like this month. They pretend to be doing construction work, stop trucks, or steal cargo, or worse. Thank you for not stopping." I filled out the police report under the police car's light, the pen dripping ink onto the damp paper. Big Mike tapped slowly on his own truck's tank, patiently. When I finished, he leaned against my bumper and said, "Tell the gang, if you see a badly placed cone in the middle of the night, ask for a patch, ask for a code, and don't show your nose to the bear. Thanks for stopping by, Mike." He shrugged like someone who just added sugar to their coffee and didn't save anyone's night. The next day, around 10:20, my phone rang. It was a detective asking for more details. If I remembered Branswee cones, standard of the vest, something that differentiated it. I spoke of the hedgehog contact in the rim, do black ribbon fillet in the nose of the guy with the flashlight, way of stepping. It's not the kind of thing you write down, but it's the kind of thing that sticks. The detective wrote it down and said they would cross paths with toll cameras and 24-hour service stations. I asked if they had caught anyone yet. He paused. We're hot on their trail. They never called me again. I changed my route for a few months. When I returned to I-12 at dawn, I took with me a handful of new habits. Headlight always checked. Dashcam, CB no 19 all the time. And a rule that became a commandment. Cone is not law. Law is badge in the chest, marked vehicle, and clear watchword. To this day, when the heavy rain falls and the amber light appears far away on the shoulder, my hand tightens on the steering wheel. I slow down, of course, but I don't stop just because someone with a flashlight wants me to stop. Bandits like stationary trucks, and I still have a long way to go. I'd crossed I-80 so many times that the asphalt seemed to know my tires by name. That night the wind gusted, flapping the canvas like a sail. The cargo was simple, pallets of metal parts. The promise of an early arrival in Council Bluffs. Just after the cloverleaf, I saw on the shoulder a cowled seat turned, almost touching the white line. My foot eased off the accelerator instinctively, but I didn't touch it. I've learned the hard way that certain things appear. Where does anyone want that you stop? 10 miles further on, I entered a rest area half deserted. I wanted to check the belts and drink lukewarm coffee from the flask. I stopped under a tall lamppost and climbed down with the flashlight. 3 zipper tie scuds were waiting for me in the gravel, near the axle. They weren't mine. As I bent down, I noticed a gleam stuck to the chassis, close to the tank. A magnetic tracker. I pulled it out with my thick glove, put it in my pocket, and turned off the flashlight. The wind made the convex mirror vibrate in a tiny tremor. Down below, I saw tires scraping the entrance, a white utility vehicle driving without headlights, engine muffled. He weaved between 2 sleeping trucks and stopped in line with the back of my truck, far from the cone of light. I didn't get out. I locked everything, lowered the seat, and left the window just a crack. The SUV's overhead light flicked on. Shadows crossed the cabin for a second. The door slowly opened. A man in a sweatshirt and cap got out, crouched down, and disappeared behind my truck. I didn't see a gun. I saw a pair of cutting pliers hanging from the hand. Other small steps in the gravel. The air became thin. I picked up the CB and left it on the channel where locals usually report animals on the road and roadblocks. I said quietly, without giving too much detail, that I had strange activity, no frame 197. The radio crackled, and a veteran's voice responded, "Stay in the dark, brother. We'll be there soon." The guy in the sweatshirt touched their bumper twice briefly, as if measuring distance. The SUV flashed its interior light and went out. From inside my cabin, their view mirror pendant tapped on the glass twice in the wind, and I hated that I noticed it because now each tap felt like a message. Large headlights appeared at the entrance to the rest area. 2 trucks. They pulled over to the side, forming an L with my truck, blocking the exit without saying a word. One of them shone his high beams directly on the SUV. The other opened the door and stood on the running board, chatting into the radio for all to hear. The message was simple. Wrong place to hunt for cargo. The SUV started the engine in a hurry, tried to reverse and swerved. He thought he would escape from behind, but he got caught. Rubber cones and part of the grass. The driver was indecisive, the wind pushing dust. The 2 colleagues kept their lights on him, without heroism, just pressure. When the SUV finally abandoned the maneuver and sped off, my streetlight flickered. I got out slowly as agreed on the radio, while my colleague in the blue truck strode along with a retractable baton hanging from his vest pocket. It didn't rise, it didn't threaten. It was just a visible reminder that the night also had an owner. We did the inspection right there. In addition to the tracker I had taken, we found other, smaller, glued behind the spare tire support. On the belt, signs of attempted cut. Near the wheel, a small bag with new clamps and electrical tape. My colleague taught me a silly and effective trick. A numbered seal passing through the cabin door latch. If someone moves, you know right away. They escorted me to the balance ahead, where the night watchman led us into the illuminated courtyard. There, we calmly checked every blind spot. None of us opened my cabin, No one broke the seal. No hero. Just procedure. Before leaving, the blue truck handed me something it had found stuck between the rubber of the outer door and the metal. A small piece of cardboard box, dirty with oil, bold, hurried letters. Not today. I put the paper in my pocket, without knowing why. Maybe because it was the kind of message that didn't need a continuation. It already carried the next night within it. I got back on the road, my chest tight, but in one piece. The wind was still blowing and the convex mirror continued to tremble with the rhythm of a trapped insect. From time to time I glanced at the numbered seal, intact. At the CB, a pleasant silence. The asphalt tape ran, and I mentally repeated the same checklist. Seal, straps, streetlight, reflection in the glass. It's not that I believe in luck. It's just that, around here, we learn that staying alive is method. And method, unlike fear, you choose every single day. My name is Marcos. I've been hauling dry cargo along I-77 for years, going from Virginia to West Virginia and back. Anyone who drives around here knows. At night, when the fog settles in the valleys, the mountains become a glass corridor. Everything is reflective. Everything seems closer than it is. That Thursday, I arrived with palletized electronics, a numbered seal, and a note stating high value. The carrier asked me to drive straight to Cranberry, no long stops. It was 12:40 a.m. Drizzling rain, and the CB radio was silent. Waze and the dashboard GPS showed the same thing, 92 more miles. That's when I saw the portable electronics sign on the shoulder. Inspection ahead. All trucks exit 3 flashing orange arrows, cones forming a detour to the right. At first, I didn't find it strange. Heavy traffic stops and document checks happen at night. But there was one detail. The sign was poorly leveled, the base supported by a warped wood. And the second, none patrol car visible. Just a white van with reflective stripe engine running. I took the detour. The path led to an area of old cracked asphalt, where a way station had once stood years ago. Now, there was just a low, dark warehouse and 2 white event-style tents. 3 guys in orange vests came toward me. One wore a plain cap, without an emblem. The others wore hoods under their vests. All had radios on their shoulders. "Pull over at the yellow line, driver," said the one with the cap. "Routine dot inspection." I quickly looked at his vest. No name, no number, just safety in black, stitched crookedly. The clipboard he held had carbonized forms blank, without timbre. "Document and bill of lading," he asked. I handed over the copy unsigned. The original remained in the folder next to the seal. He didn't even check it. He passed the sheet to his partner, who went straight to the point. "We will need see load." "Open the seal." "Numbered seal, friend. I only open it with written authorization from the company," I replied. "And I need to call the center." "No problem," said the one in the cap, with a brief smile. "The signal here is bad. We have a radio." I nodded as my eye fell on something else. The white van had a magnetic sticker, "State enforcement wrong, trapped air bubbles." And the strobe lights were blues and amber mixed. A combination that, if you've been around here, you know that it is not standard. The third guy stepped away to check the axles. In the shade of the tent, I saw him pull something long from the case. A strip folding nail stand, left discreetly behind my tandems. My throat went dry. The one with the cap knocked on the passenger door very kindly. "We'll save you time, driver. Just open it. We'll check 3 pallets, close it, and you're on your way. If you collaborate, no one loses the night." That sentence set everything in motion in my head. I remembered 2 cases that were circulating in the groups. Fake checkpoint, always with the same script. They order the driver to break the seal himself. Then the cargo disappears in some random yard, and when the police find it, the report says, "Seal broken by driver." Insurance denies it. The carrier throws you to the lions. "I need to use the bathroom," I said, pointing to the dark shed. "I'll call from inside." "Let's go together," the one with the cap replied. It wasn't an invitation. His hand rested on the edge of the door. His thumbnail was painted with grease recent, covering a cut. I noticed another detail. The radio in his shoulder was attached, but no hissing at all. On my CB, even when it's muted, there's always that thin noise like electric rain. His sounded like off with the light on. I gave a smile I didn't feel and did the only thing I could think of. Buy time. "Don't worry, I'm just going pull a foot so the truck doesn't roll." "Make yourself at home," he said, but stepped aside to see me. I descended slowly. I pretended to check the ratchet on the belts. I passed the tandem and saw, without a shadow of a doubt, the strip of pre-gas lined up behind the tire. The third guy looked at me through the hood. He lowered his head as if he were just waiting. "This is loose," I muttered to myself over the turnstile. "I'm going to tighten it." I reached under the chassis, as if to grab the internal ratchet, and I grabbed the strip with 2 fingers. It was heavy and cold. With my other hand, I tapped the side of the truck. Tock, tock, old yard code to get attention. The 3 turned their faces. In the same second, I threw the strip underneath towards the front of the van. "Hey!" shouted the one in the hood. The one in the cap tried to keep his tone calm, but his voice rose a half tone. "Driver, no joke." I was already climbing into the cabin. I locked the door to beat a panic button of the tracker. He had installed it himself months earlier, after a robbery in Ohio. The tracker does 2 things. It sends coordinate and audio for the company's shift and fires a bip dry to my cell phone, confirming. The beep came. I turned the key. The 6-cylinder engine roared to life. The one in the cap stood in front of my bumper, palms up, in a show of authority. "If you go out, you'll puncture your tires," he said, pointing behind him, unaware that the strip was no longer there. I responded by downloading the 2-finger glass. "If you're from the state, call the patrol to escort me. Sign wherever you have to sign there." He hesitated. A moment. That was all I needed. I put it in gear. I jerked the steering wheel to the left, slowly at first, as if to cooperate, just enough for them to think I would obey. When the one in the cab took a step forward to speak, I stepped on. The van tried to close in on me from the side, but I was already there with my intentions ready. I aimed at Bakis, not the side. I leaned against it with elephant-like care, enough to throw the van off the line without breaking my headlight. I heard ash out. I passed between the cones. One burst under the tire with the sound of a plastic bottle. In the back, no nails. In the front, the ramp back to the highway. I put it in 3rd gear, then 4th. The rearview mirror showed the 3 of them running haphazardly, one talking on the radio. That didn't make any noise. The van skidded in the rain, spun around, and for a second it was on its side. I saw the sliding door open, straps, hook, ceiling pliers. I called 911. I gave an approximate position, described the van and the people, talked about the crooked sign, the tents. The attendant asked me to don't stop and follow to a point with cameras. I chose the toll plaza closer. I spun around with sweaty hands on the steering wheel, my jaw clenched. The van appeared again in the distance, headlights on high, keeping about 200 meters away, not getting any closer. When the green toll sign appeared, he turned off the headlights and disappeared into the return loop. At the toll booth, 2 patrol cars were already parked. I was shaking without realizing it. A police officer signaled for me to pull over. I told him everything. As I spoke, I noticed that his pen had scratches from use and the badge was fastened with 2 rivets. A silly detail, but one that my brain noted as real. "This isn't the first report," the sergeant said, shaking his head. "They set up checkpoints where there used to be old structures, use rented signs without authorization, and they always try to get the driver to break the seal, then the insurance company drops the bomb on you." "I didn't break it," I said, showing the seal, my hands still shaking. He wrote down the number, took a picture. He asked for the recordings of my dashcam and the tracker. I sent it through the app. They escorted me to a well-lit courtyard with a camera facing the dock, and I asked to sleep there. I slept as much as I could. In the morning, The center called saying that the panic button had saved my contract. The audio picked up the voice of the guy in the cap saying, "If you collaborate, no one loses the night." The insurance company loved that phrase. Since then, I've carried a laminated sheet of paper attached to my sun visor. Title: Checklist to Checkpoint, Real versus Falso. Simple things I learned the hard way. Marked vehicle for real, official plates and tunits at least. Nominal identification in the vest and number on the radio. Form with letterhead of the state and agent's name legible. Never cutting seal without formal authorization from the company, plus confirmation from 911. Crooked sign, generic vest, rush and short smile. Go away, better to explain later than to pay forever. I still drive I-77. The mountains still look like glass on foggy days. Every now and then when the rain is light and